Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to this good old-fashioned video response. Yes, who remembers video responses? This guy here. This is Chris Moffat's here on Cm42TV. Here we go. Excuse the way I sound. I think I'm catching a bit of a cold. I got a messy throat and I'm quite bunged up, but it's fine because we're here. And it's very exciting because this is a very interesting and I guess very special top 10 countdown. I want to start doing some more countdowns. I've done one just before I went to Raw and SmackDown this past week, and I was going to do that. That was the next video that was planned, the sort of talking about me going to Raw and SmackDown from Glasgow this week. But this is the video now we're going to do. And it is top 10 movies that I'm thankful for. And this is weird because, you know, I have never ever thought about this list. I have never even considered it. I just thought when I first heard it, you know, top 10 movies you're thankful for. Realistically, that's just kind of your top 10. You know, your top 10 favourite movies. It's not at all. It's definitely not at all. And I mean, there is, you know, a lot of picks in here that are in my top 10 favourite movies of all time, but there's some that aren't in my top 10 that are just, you know, other ones that made it into the top 10 you just prefer more. But these are more special movies that you have kind of memories with and mean a lot to you, I guess, due to rewatchable factors or stories you have. And I think it's such a good idea because, you know, we all watch each other on YouTube and stuff. We used to anyway. It's not really the same anymore, but you would watch each other on YouTube and stuff, and then you'd hear people talk about their favourite movies and the Blu-rays that they picked up and stuff. And that was fine, and that was great, and we all, you know, liked it and commented and subscribed and stuff. But you don't really know the stories behind, you know, why certain movies mean a lot to people, and that's why I quite like this idea. It's an idea made by the Blu Limt Soldiers, which is a collab channel, The Visual Expression, WrestleMania, Club in 30, Friday the 14th, and Blu-ray Outlaw. And they do some great stuff over there, live streams and countdowns, and they do this really cool idea, which I think is a great idea. I don't know why no one's done it before, but since there's four of them, they do a countdown like every week. The same countdown, but each guy does it, and I think it's a great idea. In October they did top 10 horror movies, and all four guys did their horror films. And in November, due to Thanksgiving, they're doing the top 10 movies they're thankful for. And I'm not from America, I'm not from the States. Good luck, guys. I'm not from the States, I'm from Scotland, so my celebration of Thanksgiving is, you know, Survivor Series, I guess, you know. And that's the same with a lot of wrestling fans who aren't from America, but people who are from America obviously do the Thanksgiving thing, and it's really cool, and it's quite lucky that they get to have 2 Christmas dinners a year. So this is a thing that they're doing, 10 movies that they're thankful for. So I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to throw my name into the hat because they opened it to everybody else, and they said leave responses just like old times, and that's what I'm going to do. Because I miss those times on YouTube where, you know, you would leave video responses and it was literally underneath the video was other people's videos of the same topic. Such a great idea. I don't know why they got rid of them. You know, it's not only you could share other people's videos, but other people were able to, you know, get more views and get more subscribers and stuff. It's just not the same anymore. But yeah, here are my top 10 movies that I'm thankful for, and they are very weird. And I love it. I think that's the beauty of it. The more weird and bizarre, the better, I guess. So, yeah, I'm going to break the rules, obviously, because everyone else done. And throw in a TV show. I think you have to. I guess like 9 movies and a TV show that you're thankful for. And the TV show that I have included is, in my opinion, the greatest show of all time, in my opinion. And it is my favourite television programme ever. And it is, of course, boom, it's Friends, and people will be rolling their eyes, people will be smiling looking at this, but yeah, damn it, Friends is the best show ever made. It just is. I'm sorry. 10 seasons is a lot of seasons, but for some reason, every season and every episode just hits home, and it's just hit out of the park and nailed, and I don't know, the fact you get 6 characters here that became part of your life when you watch this show. And it's the same with, you know, everybody's favourite TV shows. It can be Breaking Bad, it can be Walking Dead, it can be all these great shows, and I love all those shows too. And the characters can really affect you, and even those shows are so bizarre and so you wouldn't expect to relate to those shows, they do. And Friends is exactly the same. Friends is a bit more relatable, but you watch these characters and you see them develop and you see them form relationships and stuff, and you just get invested and you feel like you know them. It's more on a TV show than a movie, I think, anyway. And I got this box set a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and I watched every single episode of Friends within a month, and I fell in love. And then I rewatched it, again, and fell in love even more, to the point where I've seen every episode. We're talking double digits now. And the fact that it's still on every single day on Comedy Central here in the UK, numerous times, you can't get away from it, and it's beautiful. It's the best. I don't know, Sometimes if a show's on too long or a show's on too much, you get sick of it, and that's just not the case with Friends at all. It's just, you can't get sick of Friends, which is the beauty of a good show. So, my number 10 is Friends. No order. It's not my number 10. No particular order. Friends is the first one I've shown you. And for those of you who know me, I had to include some form of wrestling. I had to. Because, wrestling and movies, the two greatest forms of entertainment, all mash into the one that's, me. But wrestling is the top of the list, come on. So I had to put one on here, and what else was I going to put on here? But WrestleMania 17. My favourite wrestling show ever, and if we're talking about things that mean a lot to you, and things that we've watched the most, this is the one that is definitely at the top of my list. I thought about putting some documentaries on here, like the CM Punk one, or the Stone Cold one, or even the one with The Rock, or Edge, or one of the ones that really are, really good and really affecting. But I couldn't, I didn't want to put this on here because it's a show, it's not really a documentary or a movie, but I had to, man, because ever since I was 4 years old, this was the first wrestling show I ever watched, the first WrestleMania I ever watched, and I shouldn't be watching wrestling back then, due to blood and, sexual innuendos and, things like that. But I did, and it was a family thing. Wrestling is a family bond with my family, and I'm very lucky with that. And where I live and my sort of environment and stuff, people just they like wrestling, and then they grow out of it. It's just a thing that happens. Everybody likes wrestling, and then they grow out of it. And just with me, I just never grew out of it, and it's due to my dad is a huge wrestling fan. My cousins, my uncle, my grandparents were big wrestling fans and stuff. And I've watched this show in full, with all my family members, with all my friends, and it is, in my opinion, the best ever. It means the most to me. I have the most memories with it, and I think a lot of people will agree. So, yeah, WrestleMania 17 is my wrestling pick for this list. Because WrestleMania 17, you just made the list! Hey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's right, I thought I left one out, but no, I did not. I kind of did, but it doesn't matter. We'll move on to the actual movies now. Let's follow the rules, shall we? We're fucking 8 minutes in, Jesus. Okay, I'll try to be quick. Here are my films then. The first one I'm going to show you is Boyhood by Richard Linklater, starring Ethan Hawke and L.R. Coltrane. I think Richard Linklater is my favourite director. I'm not sure. I think so anyway. This is a special movie to me because I've never related to a movie so much in my life. Not to the point, to the bigger themes in the film, like, I was very fortunate that I never had any family issues, and, I get along, great with my sister, and, my parents are, still very much together and stuff. It's not as if it's like a big, a family affair that, that Mason goes through in this film. But it's the little things in this film that I can relate to the most, and it's, when I was watching the film for the first time, just things added up, and it's kind of like, that's kind of cool that I can relate to it. But the more I watch this film, it gets kind of scary, because it's like all the little things I can relate to kind of build up to this one big thing, this one big theme. Like, a theme of the film is, Chris Moffat. It's just, I don't know, talking about Star Wars, and, singing High School Musical, and, using the Beyblade things, and I don't know. I actually made a list on my phone. Where's my phone? I don't know, I think here's my phone. I made a list on my phone of all the things that I could find relatable to this film back in February when I first watched this. Watching Dragon Ball Z, singing Soldier Boy, playing Wii Boxing, pretending to be ill, not so you didn't need to go to school, talking to your parents about sex and having the sex talk, growing your hair out when you're 15 and looking silly, but the guy in this film just looks far too cool for my liking. The soundtrack is amazing. obsessed with like cameras and camera work and photography and stuff. That was something I was, obsessed with. The Dark Knight, they talk about the Dark Knight, the straight edge thing on their hands. It's just, there's lots of things on here, and there's more. There's a fucking list I made on my notes page. It's not, you can't really see it, but yeah, a big list of things that I could relate to in this film, and I stand by it, And this is a film that's almost 3 hours long that I've watched lots of times since it came out last year, and I don't do that. I don't rewatch films that are longer than 2.5 hours because I can't sit through them because I'm so my mind just wanders. But yeah, Boyhood, I had to make the list, even if it's not as special as the other ones. I had to be on there for those reasons. And on a lighter note, this is one that is a mutual love with me and my best friend. This film is, of course, Borat. And you'll be thinking, why the hell? Borat, what is the real title here? Borat, Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan. With Sacha Baron Cohen, the Lone Wolf. Sacha Baron Cohen. Still in the cellophane, of course. Now, some of you may know, my best friend Paul from the By The Way podcast. He isn't a huge movie fan. He just does, he's a big football fan, so we'll watch football and TV shows more than we'll watch movies. And it's understandable, he doesn't like sitting through long films and stuff. And I'm the same, I guess. But I guess I'm more tolerant, and that sort of thing. But we can never find movies that we'll sit through and watch together. One is Wolf of Wall Street, one is Step Brothers, and just a few others. But this one is the one that we've watched the most together, anyway. And I almost feel bad if I was to watch this film on my own now, because me and Paul have watched this 5 or 6 times all the way through together within the last 2 or 3 years. And as ridiculous as it is, and as poor of a movie it's looked at, I think it's utter genius. And I think it is so controversial and so feckin' hilarious that it's not even, it can't even be considered, a bad film, even if it is. And that's why it's very special to me, because it brings, me and Paul, my childhood best friend, together through films, which doesn't happen very often. So this is the film that we have found that's so ridiculous that matches our intellectual, capacity enough to enjoy every single time and still absolutely piss ourselves laughing and be in stitches laughing every single time we watch it. So Borat had to be on the list of Jericho. And also, sticking with comedies, I also put on Airplane on my list, because Airplane is my all-time favourite comedy. And those of you who know me, I'm not a particularly serious person. I don't... Look at that disc artwork. Isn't that just something? Isn't that something special? It's actually a picture of a camera. What is that about? A little bit of effort would be good for such an amazing film. Yeah, this is my favourite comedy of all time. It is my 4th favourite movie ever. And it's special to me because it's a comedy that my dad always told me about. And when I first watched this, I was far too young. And because my dad always talked about this, I always wanted to see it. And we'd go on airplanes, to go on holiday and stuff, and go on vacation. When I was younger, my dad would always make references to Airplane, and I couldn't, get them, and I just thought he was trying to scare us, because I'd never seen the film. And one night, it must have been about midnight, it was very late, or late for, whatever age I was, 8 or 9 years old. And we opened a drawer in the living room, and the Airplane DVD was there, and it was like, just put it on, just, why not, let's just put Airplane on. It's, past midnight, but who cares, it's not a school night. And we watched Airplane, and, it's not as if it's like a really bad film in terms of, profanity and being inappropriate for younger viewers. There are some stuff in there, obviously. More sex references than anything else, really, but, and like a naked woman just runs in front of the screen at some point. But, as I've gotten older and the more I've watched the film, the more I've appreciated it. And that's, the beauty of it, because you start loving a film when you're younger, and as you get older, you realise how much you do love it. And I just thought it was so cool that my dad let me watch one of his favourite films that I didn't understand, but I'd still try and laugh to sort of pretend that I understood, so my dad would, be alright with continue letting me watch it and stuff. So yeah, Airplane is my favourite comedy of all time, and it's definitely one that I'm thankful for. I'm seeing a pattern here. It's mainly comedies, but who the hell cares? Next up is another very special film that is a guaranteed watch every single year. And Christmas is my favourite holiday, is my favourite time of the year, and it is, of course, Elf. with Will Ferrell and James Caan, of course, and the guy who plays Professor Proton in Big Bang Theory. He's Papa Elf, and I didn't know that until like last year. Every single Christmas Eve for the last 10 years, at least 10 years, maybe more, this has been on my TV, and not just my TV, and the TV, you know. Every night, every Christmas Eve at, 9 PM, 10 PM, before, Santa comes and before we all go to bed and we leave our milk and our cookies out and we get all excited, we can't go to bed without watching Elf. And there's another film that's coming up next that's the same, but this is the one that we've watched more often anyway. This is a film that brings our families together on Christmas. I think Christmas is the best because it's a family affair anyway. But I think without Elf, a lot of us would just kind of sort of, shrug it off and, watch it in our own time. But no, it's like Christmas Eve tradition. I didn't like when I was in school. I didn't like when they, around Christmas time or winding down for the Christmas holidays, and they'd put Elf on in class, and I didn't want to watch it because it's Christmas Eve. You can't watch Elf unless it's Christmas Eve. It's just my opinion. It is the most Christmassy film of all time, in my opinion. It's got an element that, I guess you don't need to watch it at Christmas time, although I think that's against the rules, but you don't need to. It can still be a funny film, in June. Why the hell not? Just relationships between characters, just the absolutely, the way that Buddy the Elf is oblivious to everything, the one-liners, hello Buddy the Elf, what's your favourite colour? Like, in some of the quotes, and I don't know, man, it's just the perfect Christmas film, and it's in my top 10 favourite movies ever. Elf is a classic, and it is very, very special to me. And speaking about films that are very special to me, this is a double pack, and it is the Home Alone 1 and 2 box set, the double pack. I think this has got to be on everybody's list, everybody's thankful list, and that's obviously just my opinion. Everyone's list is different, but I think everyone I've watched so far, I think this may have been on them. But these are the perfect movies in my opinion. Both of them, they both count as the same. 3 and 4, disgrace. 1 and 2, two of the best movies ever made. And it's the same with Elf. Home Alone 2 especially, I prefer the second one. But that's that's one I watch every Christmas as well on Christmas Eve. Actually, last year I watched it on the 23rd, which was a bit annoying, but I had to or something. I don't know. It was on Netflix, I think, and I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, but I made sure I got this Blu-ray this year because I don't want to, especially when I'm in a day and age where I'm trying to collect Blu-rays and stuff more often. Kevin McAllister was someone I looked at as a friend. It's like he was my buddy. He was my friend when I was younger, and because when I first watched this, we were about the same age, and one of my biggest fears when I was younger was someone breaking into my house and being left alone. 2 in the 1, I guess. Now I could take anybody. I know wrestling. Someone tries to break in here, RKO out of nowhere. But back when I was younger, being left home alone and people breaking into your house was my 2 biggest fears. That drowning, I guess. So. What I would do is I had the DVDs of this and the VHSs, and I would always make my dad skip to the scene. You know how on a DVD menu when you can pick your scene selection, and it's like a little picture of each scene, you just have to kind of guess which one it is due to the picture, the little thumbnail. And the thumbnail I'd always click on was the picture of the map that Kevin makes, the plan, the battle plan, the blueprints of how he's going to, damage and almost murder these breaking and enteries. These burglars, and I don't know, I always clicked on that one of the map, and it would always start off with Kevin eating that thing made, the macaroni and cheese thing, and then the thing would go, and he'd go to both the candles and run and get the gun, and this is my house, I have to protect it. This is it, don't get scared now. And I don't know. So from watching it to a young age to watching it now, I related a lot to Kevin, and it's Home Alone. I don't know why I spent so much time on Home Alone because everybody loves Home Alone. Nearly finished here. Another really random one is Rush Hour 3. I love Rush Hour. The trilogy is the best. I hear there's a new one coming out. I don't know how happy I am about that. I don't know if it's the same cast. I need to look into that. But Rush Hour 3 is I guess I have the first one on my top 10 of all time, Rush Hour 1. But Rush Hour 3 I saw in the cinema, and it was more of an experience going to see it with all my friends for someone's birthday, and it was like a big group of us, it was like 6 of us or whatever, and yeah, it's hilarious, it's full of action, there's stunts, there's like a story to it. I think it's one of the most underrated films or trilogies ever, and I think the relationship between Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan is the best relationship between two characters in a movie ever. And I think Rush Hour 3 and Rush Hour 1 and 2 should all belong on some people's at least favourite films list anyway. Because I just think they're genius, I just think they're brilliant and so underrated, and anytime it's on you just can't stop watching, and that's the beauty of a good film, isn't it? Okay, here we go. I have never talked about this before in my life, or on camera or on YouTube and stuff, but it has affected me more than any other film, I guess, on this list. Maybe not maybe the next one I'm going to show you will, but this is a really personal one to me, and as soon as I show it, everybody's going to laugh, and that's the reason I've never sort of talked about it on YouTube before. And I guess I'll just show you, and it's not even a Blu-ray, and it is the High School Musical trilogy. Why, you ask? I'll tell you exactly why. When I was younger, in 2006, I was the biggest fan of Disney Channel and Nickelodeon and that sort of thing. The kids' channels. Because I loved Keenan and Kel, I loved Drake and Josh, I loved The Amanda Show, Sister Sister, My Parents Are Aliens, Fairly Odd Parents, SpongeBob SquarePants, iCarly, Wizards of Waverly Place, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, That's So Raven, Hannah Montana, Corey in the House, The Sweet Life on Deck. That was my childhood. All those shows and wrestling, that was my childhood. So one day you're just kind of watching Disney Channel, and then they promote this new original Disney Channel movie called High School Musical. And I saw this guy by the name of Troy Bolton with the coolest hair in the world, and he was on stage and he was singing, and he was a basketball player, and when you're in high school, singing's not really cool, I guess. And I just thought it was really interesting, and I thought I'd watch it that one night because it was Disney Channel, and I was all for anything like Camp Rock and the Cheetah Girls and things like that. I was all for the original movies, and I watched High School Musical when it came on, and I legit fell in love. I'd loved the film ever since day one, and I was thinking, God, why did I enjoy that so much? And I went out with my friends, and they asked me, what were you doing? And I was watching High School Musical, and they all laughed at me, and they all said, what the hell, what is that even about? And I was, it's a guy called Troy, and they'd all laugh at the name Troy, Zac Efron. And I knew the film, because Ashley Tisdale was in it, and she played Maddie from Sweet Life. So, a new film with Maddie in it, who was my childhood crush as well, by the way, Ashley Tisdale, and for good reason. So High School Musical was a thing, and then they announced High School Musical 2 was coming out the summer after. And I remember being at KFC with my mum and my sister, and I was thinking, oh my God, High School Musical 2 is about to come on the TV. We got a KFC, and we came here, and we watched High School Musical 2 live as it premiered, and I fell in love even more than the first one, so I preferred High School Musical 2. And still to this day, I still, at leisure, listen to the songs, sing along, will dance to them and stuff on nights out. I obviously do shows myself and stuff. It's whilst rehearsing for shows and musicals and stuff, I'll try and get them to do High School Musical and stuff. These are my favourite Disney Channel movies. They are some of my favourite movies ever. The third one not so much, but 1 and 2 especially 2. It's just something that connected with me, and I'm not I can't sing, I can't dance, I'm not like that, but these are some of my favourite movies ever. Still to this day, enjoy them and watch them and sing and quote them, and yeah, never said that before on YouTube. I don't know why, it's just never have. It just never came up. But yeah, the High School Musical movies are very special to me. Lots of memories with them. Like I'd collect the CDs and the DVDs with my friends, or some of my friends anyway, who were into them as well. And loads of my friends now still love the films as well. So it's not as if I have to sort of shy away from them. I can still love them. And I will always be a wildcat at heart. So yeah, High School Musical 1 and 2 is on this list as well. I'm sorry this is so long, but I just talk too much. Now the last couple I'm going to show you here are both the same. And it is of course Star Wars. My favourite movie franchise ever. 1 to 6 is very special to me because it was something I wasn't interested in when I was younger, and then just one day my dad had A New Hope on the TV about 2005, and I watched it and fell in love with it, and then that made me want to go see Revenge of the Sith in cinemas, and coming out of seeing Revenge of the Sith, I was hooked, and that was me for life, Star Wars. And I just loved Anakin Skywalker. I just loved Hayden Christensen. Everyone hates him. I just love him. And Revenge of the Sith is, one of the most quoted films for me ever. It's just that last sort of battle. I have brought peace, justice, and security to my new empire. Your new empire? I don't know. It's just something you, something you quote. I don't know. I quote anyway. Obi-Wan shoots General Grievous, so uncivilized. Every Star Wars film, no matter how shit, like Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones, because they're the shit ones, still love them. And right now, my sister has never seen Star Wars, and we are currently going through a Star Wars marathon. We're watching Star Wars, myself and my dad. My sister have been watching through all the Star Wars films. We just watched Empire a couple of days ago. We're going to watch Return of the Jedi later today, and then we get to watch, on Sunday, we get to watch my favourite film of all time. And what is that? The Force Awakens. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, is my favourite movie ever. And this is the top of the list for movies that I'm thankful for. This time last year, we were all building up to the release of The Force Awakens, and it was the most anticipated movie ever, in my opinion, with the greatest trailers ever released. And I couldn't be more excited. And the day this came out, I had a college night out, a dinner, a Christmas dinner, and we were all dressed up in suits and jumpers and nice trousers and shoes, and we were all dressed up and stuff, and everybody was just top form and looking great, and we're all drinking and having this amazing meal, and they were all getting all drunk and stuff, and they were ready to go out into town and enjoy themselves because it was the Christmas holidays and let's celebrate Christmas. And I was like, guys, I have to stop, because within an hour I will be in the cinema watching The Force Awakens. And I went to the midnight screening of The Force Awakens, and it was the greatest cinema experience of my life, and it became my favourite film ever. And that is why it's at the top of the list. 27 minutes later, The Force Awakens is my number one pick, and the movie I'm most thankful for, because it's my favourite movie, and I will always have the memories of seeing The Force Awakens with my dad, the midnight screening, and literally the feeling that went through my body watching that film. I smiled for 2.5 hours straight. I just couldn't stop smiling, and that first 10 minutes, I thought I was like, oh my god, I was shaking, and I don't know, I'd never experienced that before, and it was love. If that's what love is like, this was it. Star Wars The Force Awakens. So that's my list. I'm so sorry that it's so long. I didn't want it to be over 20 minutes, but that is my list. I know it wasn't particularly great. I know that some of the reasoning is a bit sort of odd and I guess not compatible, but it's things like rewatchable factors and the amount of times you've watched things and memories you have with watching it with certain people, and the Bo Rat with my best friend, and Star Wars with my dad, and High School Musical as I was younger, and things like that, and WrestleMania 17. Wrestling has always been a big part of my life. So that's my list for my top 10 things that I'm thankful for. And I just want to thank the Blu Limt Soldiers for putting this great idea out there. I think it's an awesome idea, and I highly recommend everybody take part, because it's a great idea. It's a good way to bring everyone together. Everyone can get sort of like an insight to people's lives and people's movie tastes and stuff. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'm Chris Moffat from the Good Bit Podcast. Check the podcast below if you can. That would be great. And yeah, watch all these films, enjoy your favourite films, and enjoy everybody else's thankful videos. And I'm very thankful that I was able to do this. So thank you very much for watching. And until next time, Napoli, eh?